hit the world with something that really is not anything that people are going to do, and it was shocking. I can tell you, Howard and I and Todd, Scott, we were all speaking about it before, and we said, where did that come from?
U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Friday that the United States will impose a 100% tariff on Chinese goods starting November 1, in response to China's new restrictions on exports of rare earth minerals. Trump stated on Truth Social, based on the fact that China has taken this unprecedented position, the United States of America will impose a tariff of 100% on China over and above any tariff they are currently paying. China recently introduced rules requiring special approval for exports of rare earth elements or products containing even trace amounts. Rare earth minerals are used in industries including electronics, defense, and renewable energy. Beijing said the export controls are intended to safeguard national security. Trump also addressed plans to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit later this month in South Korea. He said, "No, I haven't canceled, but I don't know that we're going to have it. I'll be there regardless." When asked if the tariffs would be revoked if China reverses the export controls, Trump stated, "We'll have to see what happens. That's why I made it November 1st.
I just want to confirm, have you canceled your meeting with President Xi?
No, I haven't canceled, but I don't know that we're going to have it. But I'm going to be there regardless, so I would assume we might have it. But, they hit the world with something that really is not anything that people are going to do. And it was shocking. I can tell you, Howard and I and Todd, Scott, we were all speaking about it before. And we said, where did that come from? That was out of the blue, right? Out of the blue, they came up with this whole import-export concept, and nobody knew anything about it.
So if they roll back their export controls, the new announcement, would you roll back?
Look, we're going to have to see what happens. That's why I made it November 1st. We'll see what happens, yeah.
Mr. President,
Go ahead, please.
What else besides software could be on the table in terms of export controls?
A lot more. I mean, you have software, but you have a lot more. We have airplanes. We have airplane parts. You remember that from last time. And we were just surprised at China. I have a very good relationship with President Xi, and they did that. This is not something that I, instigated. This was just a response to something that they did. And they didn't really aim it at us. They aimed it at the whole world. The whole world is subject to it. So I thought it was very, very bad. But we have many things, including a big thing is airplane. They have a lot of Boeing planes, and they need parts and lots of things like that, Steve.
He also noted that the tariffs could be massive, potentially impacting trade between the two countries. China has not issued an immediate response to the announcement. The situation remains under observation as the November 1st implementation date approaches.
And so this week is a great opportunity for us to open those doors and channels of communication. We had a great breakfast this morning with the prior ambassador, Sui Tenkai, and just a tremendous conversation this morning. So with that, I'm going to introduce Congressman Adam Smith to make a couple comments, and we'll take a few questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. I really appreciate that. And I want to start by a couple of thank yous to Ambassador Perdue and to his team at the United States Embassy. This is an incredibly talented group of people that are representing the United States well, and their interactions with the Chinese government and the Chinese people, I think, are crucial to what the ambassador referenced about the need to improve dialogue and improve understanding between our two countries. I also want to thank the Chinese government and the leadership. They've been very generous with their time. We've had robust and very helpful meetings, which I very much appreciate. They have welcomed us in. I thank my colleagues for joining me on this trip. I think the ambassador made it very clear what we're trying to accomplish. We want to open up the lines of communication. Without any question, China and the United States are the two most powerful countries in the world. Our relationship is going to be the most consequential relationship in terms of what the world is going to be like for decades to come. It is really important that we work to strengthen that relationship and better understand each other. It is absolutely the case that we have disagreements, but everybody has disagreements. You have to set up mechanisms for being able to talk about those disagreements and resolve them in the most reasonable way possible. And I feel strongly that there has not been enough communication between leaders in the U.S. and leaders in China, and we want to work to fix that problem, to open up the lines of communication and begin that dialogue. I don't presume to know what the answers are. How would we resolve all of those disagreements? I don't think anybody does. But I know we won't resolve them if we don't start having a better conversation about it and a better understanding of each other. Now, as mentioned, I'm the ranking member on the House Armed Services Committee. I've served on that committee now for going on 29 years, and the military-to-military relationship between China and the U.S. is of particular concern. China is the most rapidly growing military and the most rapidly growing nuclear power in the world. The U.S. has the biggest military in the world and the biggest nuclear arsenal. It is dangerous for us not to be having regular communications about our capabilities and intentions so we understand each other and so that miscalculations and misunderstandings don't lead to larger problems. So that's our purpose. We want to open up a dialogue, begin the process of getting our two countries to better understand each other, better get along, and then hopefully work together to help solve some of the problems that the world faces. We still have, massive issues of poverty and hunger across the world, terrorism, instability in a bunch of places in the world, protecting the environment to make sure that we can preserve this planet. These are all things that both China and the U.S. bring a lot to the effort to solve those problems. It would be so much better if we could work more closely together on them. So again, I thank you for your hospitality, for welcoming this delegation, and I am happy to take questions. Or she is happy to take questions, I should say.
Let's start with Stephen John from CNN.
Thank you, Stephen John with CNN. So, Congressman Smith, I think I read in your remarks and statements, you raised quite a few issues that are U.S. priorities with the Chinese, including fentanyl and rare earths. But I don't know if you noticed, in their readout about the phone call between the two presidents last Friday, they did not mention fentanyl. They did not mention rare earth. So that seems to indicate quite a different list of priorities. So my question to you is, how much do you think a visit like yours and your conversations could move the needle on those issues, especially when it comes to fentanyl and rare earths? And what are some of their main concerns or barriers for such cooperation as they have mentioned to you? And related to this, there is some analysts saying the Chinese have increasingly feel they hold the upper hand in dealing with the U.S. and all those issues. Did you get a sense of that? And how much of that do you think is them taking advantage of a polarized political environment in the U.S.? Thank you.
That's a lot of questions in there. If I miss one of them, feel free to remind me. Look, but I mean, the basic gist of the whole question, it sort of gets at the core problem. There's a lot of misunderstandings on both sides. If you sat down with the Chinese leadership and asked them, okay, what are the issues? Where are you at? Where's the U.S. at? What's most important? What's least important? You would absolutely get a different set than if you sat down with the United States leaders and asked that same question. It's the basic of negotiations. As chair of the Armed Services Committee, I negotiated 4 different defense bills on 100 different issues.